content carried in here is suitable for general family viewing.
Right, good afternoon and many thanks for joining us today on the Sports Show. Of course, this is the 25th of February, the year 2023, and indeed it is the last Saturday of this particular month, and we have much and more lined up for you, including the Kenya Cup, and this is the last round of it as far as the regular Premier League fixtures are concerned. Up next will be the kickoff, the playoff stages where the top 4 teams will be heading on that. But today is the epicenter of it. The league comes to a tail end, but that is part of it. And still in the Kenya Premier League, we have a couple of fixtures that will be played today. Remember, the first match is already ongoing, and we'll be bringing you analysis. The match between Nairobi City Stars that is currently ongoing, and I believe they are in the first half. They are in their halftime, and they'll be heading on later on to some fixtures. But the big match of concern today is that of Gor Mahia and Kenya Police. Remember, these two teams have been on the top form. Gor lead on the log, and Kenya Police have really, they had a bad season coming to this particular league, but they have marshaled their numbers, and now they are really doing well and even flying on the table. And as we speak right now, they are 4th on the log. These two teams will be meeting today, this particular season, for the first time. Remember, the last season the two teams met. Kenya Police actually garnered 2-0 against Gor Mahia. Will they replicate the same results? Only time will tell. Remember, that match will be played at exactly 3 p.m. Kenyan time, and we'll be following that particular match to bring you up to speed. Remember, the defending champions, that is Tusker, will be playing against Mathare United, and Tusker will be wanting to marshal their numbers. They started quite pretty well with a lot of scoring, a lot of goals, good form, but somewhere along the line just things, slipped off, and the team is really struggling. But it's never too late to rule them out. These things do happen, especially in a season of football like this. And my goodness, Europa League draw is out. And remember, Manchester United, Arsenal will wanting to go and stake their claim. Of course, Manchester United will be playing against Real Betis. That is a team from Spanish. Real Betis, they are 5th in the La Liga Premier League table, and of course Arsenal will be playing against Sporting Lisbon, that is the Portuguese defending champions, and of course one of the most successful teams as far as football in Portuguese is concerned. Remember, Juventus, courtesy of Di Maria, booked their slot in after a terrifying display against their weaker opponent. Di Maria scored 3 goals, that is a hat-trick, to earn them a place, and they'll be in the last 16 of the UEFA Europa League. They'll be playing, just wanting to stake their claim. And then remember, this Europa League has some rich history. I'm talking about a team like Sevilla, who yet again they are in this particular race. The last time they missed, for the first time ever, Sevilla has been a dominant team, but this, they have a chance to at least prove a point. Well, that is as far as the Europa League is concerned, and of course we'll be crossing over to the English Premier League, where I'll be taking you through today's fixtures. And one fixture in particular that is really of great concern is the London Derby, that is Tottenham vs Chelsea. Remember, this match will be played tomorrow, and this is football like no other, atmosphere of intensity. Remember, one team sits pretty well, but pretty comfortable on the English Premier League, that is they are in the Champions League spot, but one team is really struggling. I'm talking about Chelsea, one of the London's pride, and of course for many times the discussion has always been who owns the key to the London. Of course, the conversation has been between Chelsea and Arsenal, but in the recent years, Chelsea have a rich history as far as performance are concerned. But this season they struggle. They sit 10th on the log with no signs of improving. Will they bounce back from defeat? Last time they were punished 1-0 to Southampton. Will they bounce back? Your guess is as good as mine. But that match will be played tomorrow. Then a couple of matches will be played, including the Carabao Cup final between Manchester United and Newcastle United. That still match will be played tomorrow. But whoever will win that, I'm not pretty sure. And that brings us to our question of the day. Who do you think will brag, or will brag the bragging rights, or will walk away with the 3 points and of course winning the Carabao Cup? Will Manchester United win their first silverware this particular season, or will the favor turn in favor of Newcastle United? That is the question of our day. Remember, you can keep on talking to us on all of our social media platforms, on Facebook at KUTV Kenya, on Twitter at KUTV_Kenya, at AUMA_012. Well, but before that, I would like to take you through our highlights of the day. Then we dive direct into particular discussion that we have lined up for you. Remember, later on I'll be joined by my guest as we bring to you analysis of Kenya Premier League fixture, the Kenya Cup, all in between, all the way to the English Premier League, and of course the Carabao Cup and Europa League. I'll be joined by my gang as we break to you this in a more way for you to chunk it in a small way, and of course bring it up to date and of course up to speed with what is happening. And in this particular show, we'll be talking to we'll have a special interview about Kusa Games, and I'll be joined by my guest in the studio just for us to talk about, matters to do sports as far as university games are concerned. All right, stay in a bit. Right, now let's take a look at our day's highlights of the news. And of course we begin by our first story of the day, and that is we take you all the way to the athletics championship that is happening right now here in Nairobi. And of course Commonwealth Games 100 meters champion Ferdinand Omanyala unleashed by clocking 9.8 meters, 9.8 seconds in the 100 meters track. Omanyala beat compatriot Stephen Onyango to second place in the third heat in 10.3 seconds, while Africa 400 by 100 meters, that is gold medalist Samuel Emita from Kenya Defence Forces ran second fastest time of 10.20 seconds to win the fifth heat, as they both qualify for the semi-finals slated today. Right now, let's switch gears to some rugby action. Shujaz will open their Los Angeles Sevens campaign with a clash against HSBC World Series defending champion Australia in Pool C before brushing shoulders with the two-time Olympic winner Fiji on Sunday. The Damian McGrath-led charge will wind up their Group C match where they face off Japan. Shujaz have improved in form in recent outings in Hamilton and Sydney, finishing 13th and 10th consecutively, and will hope to be in their fine form against sides like Australia and Fiji. In other pools, Sydney Sevens champions New Zealand will have a go at winning their second tournament this season as they battle Samoa, USA and Chile and Sydney in the final list, while South Africa are pooled together with Ireland, Uruguay and Canada. Now still matters rugby. Catholic monks will battle it out with Nakuru on the final day of the 2022-2023 season Kenya Cup regular season in one of the 6 matches slated for today. Another clash scheduled for today, Homeboys will square it out with the 5th place Black Blood at Jamhuri Park, while Masinde Muliro will have a date with Destiny when they host Mwamba RFC in Kakamega. Other fixtures will see Kenya Harlequins face off with Strathmore Leos, while Main Machine will battle it out with Wounded KCB at University of Nairobi, I beg your pardon. Defending champions Cabras Sugar will host last season beaten finalist Menengai Oilers in a do-or-die battle. Carlos Katwai's men came to this clash on a high, having edged their arch-nemesis KCB 29-23 in a thrilling encounter last weekend at Ruaraka grounds. Right now, let's switch gears to football. Dominant Kariobangi Sharks put to past struggling Sofapaka in the Kenya Premier League match at Kasarani Annex. Sigman Maina put Sharks ahead after only 48 minutes of playing time before Shikanda added the second goal 27 minutes later to make it 2-0 at full time to bag all 3 maximum points. Following their 2-0 win against Sofapaka, Kariobangi Sharks now sits 11th on the log with 20 points out of 16 games played so far.
Kuzuia vyema kwa maana mechi zile tumecheza zote tumekuwa tukifunga lakini hatuzuii. Sasa labda leo kuzuia sio kipindi cha kwanza kwenda mapumzikoni tukiwa labda 0-0 na kupata mabao mawili hasa kipindi cha pili imesaidia zaidi.
Right. 6 fixtures have been lined up today in the Football Kenya Federation Premier League while Nairobi City Stars is currently battling out with Ulinzi Stars at Kasarani Annex, while Bandari will play host to Bidco United at Mbaraki Stadium. In another match, Kakamega Homeboys will be out to hunt all three maximum points when they play host to struggling Vihiga Bullets. In other matches scheduled to be played today, the Battle of the Titan is expected between Gor Mahia and Kenya Police that will be played today at Moi Sports Center. And in other matches that will see two teams that have been really in fine form, that is, will be Mathare United will face off Wazito while at Ruaraka Stadium, while KCB will face off FC Leopard, and that match will be slated for tomorrow, Sunday. Right now, still matters football. Ukrainian giants Shakhtar Donetsk will kick off their round of 16 with a clash against Feyenoord, while Mikel Arteta's boys will face Portuguese side Sporting Lisbon. The competition's favourite, Manchester United, will be hoping to cruise past Spaniard side Real Betis to book a slot in the quarter-finals of the Europa League. In the same draw, Juventus will square it out with Freiburg, while Roma will face off Real Sociedad. Sevilla will be seeking to stake their claim as one of the most dominant teams as far as Europa League is concerned when they face off Fenerbahce. While still matters football, Manchester United will be hoping to bag their first silverware this season when they go head-to-head with Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley on Sunday. United booked their place in the Carabao Cup final after seeing off Nottingham Forest over the two-leg in the semi-finals. Newcastle, meanwhile, will reach the showpiece event following a last-four trump over Southampton. Well, yet again, still football. Everton will be hoping to extend their winning streak to 2 in a row when they welcome Aston Villa at Goodison Park, while league leaders Arsenal will be out to grab all 3 points against the Foxes at King Power Stadium. Other fixtures scheduled for Saturday will see West Ham United play host to Nottingham Forest, while Liverpool will travel to Selhurst Park Stadium to entertain Crystal Palace. Tottenham Hotspurs will welcome Chelsea on Sunday at Tottenham Stadium in a London derby. Right, now we are due to a first break, of course, bringing to the end the first segment of On the Spot. When we come back, we'll be diving into more, including the basketball tournament, spread truth basketball tournament that happened, and we'll be talking to you, matters to do development of basket in the country. And later on, we'll be talking about, hockey, and in particular, we'll be talking about these vultures, that is the Kenyatta University hockey team, as we dive into many more as far as hockey sports is concerned. Well, stay tuned, plenty much to follow after this particular break.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
The folks are going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pipopa si vuguvugu. Pipopa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni Duniani Leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Maybe comes from those remote areas, even if they are above that 8 years or 12 years or even around 14 years, you'll find that their appreciating of issues is really low compared to a child in Nairobi.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Tutakuwa tunaangazia utamaduni wa nyimbo za harusi. Yani harusi za zamani zilikuwa zinafanywa vipi? Kuna nyimbo ambazo ni speciali kabisa, ambazo zimetengwa, ambazo ni za sherehe za harusi.
Sana sana hucheza hizi ngoma wakati wa kama kuna msichana anataka kuolewa, ama kuna mtoto amezaliwa anatolewa nje, ama kuna mtu anataka kuolewa lakini ametolewa mahari. Nini ukare vizonje na anazana kikombe.
Welcome back, and thank you for keeping it on the spot. Remember, you can keep on talking to us and follow this particular sports show on all of our social media platforms. That is Facebook, KUTV Kenya, on Twitter at KUTV_. You can tag me along at AU_012. Right. Of course, there is plenty more to expect in this second segment of this on the sports show, and of course we'll be diving into quite plenty of sports action for you. One in particular, we'll be talking to the Kenyatta University Vulture hockey team. Of course, the team finished third in just concluded season in the men's Kenya National Super League hockey team, and the coach will be joining me here as we take a deeper into matters to do with hockey, the new season, what to expect, and of course the ongoing Kusa hockey league, and of course their expectations, what the future hold for them, and how to improve hockey in Kenya. That is part of it. Then later on, I'll be joined by my fellow journalists as we analyze matters to do with sports in the country. That is local sports review. I'll be diving against the ongoing series, or rather the Los Angeles rugby series, and in particular we'll be talking about the Shuja's performance. Remember, the team started off pretty bad, but the improvement is quite impressive and amazing, from 13th, 10th. And of course, are we looking to something like 10th or even 8th? Of course, we'll be taking a look at that. But remember, they have a mountain task to climb. They come against Fiji, Australia, and of course against Japan, not so much dominant, but they have to overcome them for them to rise above last season's performance. They have their own target, but we'll be taking a look at that later on. And before that, there is this Spread Truth Tournament, Africa tournament that concluded last Sunday, I beg your pardon. And most in particular, the most interesting thing about this is the development of young talents, and of course, as far as basketball is concerned, well, I had an opportunity to speak with players and even organizers, and one of the aim for them to spread through the African tournament, at least 30 teams showing interest in the first of 4 editions to be held this year. I had a sit down with Wycliffe, Yoda, and Liz on the role and importance of tournament in their country, and as far as development of basketball is concerned, and their impact in the society. And this is how it all went down.
I'm part of KSBC. We are in partnership with Spread with Africa in organizing this tournament. We plan to do it on a quarterly basis, but we've done it before. Tumekuwa na Mega Fest and all that. But for this year, we were planning to do it on a quarterly basis. So at least once every 3 to 4 months. Yeah. Today's tournament to be host in Umoja 2. Yeah, right here, this is the OPA. Kuna Buruburu KG Church, and which will be tomorrow at Umoja 2 court. Yeah. Our main target is the youth. As you can see, we've partnered with Spread with Africa. They're a Christian organization who mostly focus on ministry. They have a program called Kikao, where they talk to the youth about modern day social problems. They have anti-FGM and nutritional. They have nutritional what do we call them? Drives. Yeah, food drives. Yeah.
All right. Give us your perspective about the development of basketball in Kenya, owing to the fact that these are very young players with a promising future and, of course, potential to be future stars. How do you view in the development of basketball in Kenya?
We mainly should focus on the grassroots. As you've noticed, there are very many young players, but still there are some also more experienced players. We have some national team players, both in the female categories and the male categories. So knowledge is shared across the board, but mainly focusing on the development of these young guys, because most of them don't get the opportunity to play in the national league. So right here, kwa mtaa, this is where you get the talent. Yeah, and we are proud that some have come from here and gone up to the national teams. We have some players who made it even abroad playing professionally. So I think the main focus should be the grassroots level where the youth are. Yeah.
Maybe in future, where do you see these particular rounds of tournament in future? In 5 years' time to come, where do you see yourself?
In 5 years' time, I think we'll have the largest tournament in Africa. Yeah, I hope it gets to that, because judging by our current trajectory, we can see the interest is growing every now and then. Corporates are now starting to see the value in putting some money in the youth, and with that, at least we know we'll be somewhere. In 5 years, we'll make it big. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My experience in this tournament is a learning process for me, because I get to play with my teammates. My bareback teammates are mostly my opponents, so I get the experience to learn a lot from them, and also meeting new guys, because most of these guys I just see them in tournaments that I don't participate more often. So yeah, it's a learning experience. I'm learning from everyone, opponents, my teammates, and the rest of the guys. The match I've had, it was a bit tough, because both teams are experienced, most players are experienced players, so it wasn't an easy game, but we managed to fight them and all that, but we lost, so we're going back to the drawing board to work on our mistakes and work better in the next games. Experience from both experienced players and the upcoming players. I'll just keep on saying it's a learning process, because I've also noticed there are young players who are playing really good basketball, because they've got to be coached with the great coaches, and they get to participate in tournaments. So they're all good, they're upcoming, and they're promising. And for the experienced players, we're here to grow them, grow ourselves as well. Yeah. What I would like to say, what I've noticed around here, I see young children. They're children all over, and the joy I see in them watching the game and the fun they're having here, to me I feel it's giving them like some sort of motivation, so they would really want to participate in this at some point, and they will end up playing basketball. This will make them busy, so they would end up avoiding unnecessary drama out here. So yeah.
Right, and that's how it all went down, of course, on that particular Saturday. And pretty much statistics to give you, or rather to throw at you. A total of at least 40 teams showed interest, 36 men teams, and of course 6 women teams. Big disparity there, some sort of concern, but one thing that they really promise is to work on that one, the number, as far as even the discussion about the gender is concerned, because the involvement of women in sports, and in particular basket, is pretty key, and that is their criteria number 1 this time round on. Now, this was the first edition of the ongoing series. Of course, they plan to do it 4 times, so this one is gone, 3 more to go. And in every edition, one of the most important things, or rather the aim of this, is to spread the truth about the gospel, and of course the gospel of basketball, and in particular to nurture young talent in the grassroots level, because they want this time round give young upcoming basketballers an opportunity to showcase their talent and even to make something out of themselves, even as they try to keep the society compact and to give them engaged and keep young and vulnerable children out of the street, so that they cannot be receptive or rather vulnerable to some in the society. So that is the main aim of that particular spread truth tournament. Very good initiative, if you ask me, and that is the way and the future. Of course, the future looks bright for them, but even that is the way to go as far as nurturing young talent at the grassroots level is concerned. But for that, beside that, and of course basketball away, now there is 2 things that really melt my heart. That is rugby and football. And of course, this time round, improvement is always a key in any sport. And when you see your team improving, then that is a good thing and good example. Manchester United fans will agree with me. In the last few months, it hasn't always been rosy for them, but now they are like, hey, the league is ours. Of course, that is what is happening. But if you were to reflect this discussion to Kenya Rugby, of course, when they began, it was awful. But 13th to 10th, of course, that is quite some improvement. And we'll be taking a look at that discussion. They are facing a very strong and dominant team, two of them in particular. They have Fiji, and of course, they'll be playing against Australia. This team, Australia, is a tough one. Talk less of Fiji. But these are Shujas, and there is a reason why they are called Shujas. Maybe they might do wonders. Another team that is stands in their way, that is Japan, but Japan is just a push in the park and, of course, a walkover. And in the Kenya Premier League, it started pretty badly for Kenya Police and even Gor Mahia. But as we speak, the mighty Kogalo sits pretty comfortable on the log and, of course, with at least some games to spare. And they will be facing another dominant team, that is Kenya Police. And this time round, it is a battle of the Titan, the money bags, plus, of course, the history makers, Gor Mahia, the mighty Gor Mahia. They have a pretty history as far as the league is concerned. But this time round, will the Kenya Police and, of course, the signings that they did last season and this time round, even prior to the kickoff of the 2022-2023 season, and of course, we saw how they were faring on in the preparation and everybody was talking, Kenya Police will do magic this time round. But the beginning of the season, it was like, hey, wait a minute, is this the team that many people had predicted will challenge the big boys? And of course, they were just like, kutangulia kwa ba haimaanishi utalewa kwanza, but now they are doing wonders. They are showing us, what money can do. And we are seeing, money is good and money brings success. And to help me dissect this particular topic, of course, I'll be joined by Michael, the staunch supporter of Manchester United. Manchester United right now, mnapiga kelele sana. What is happening?
Of course.
All right. Well, that particular discussion we'll be having about these particular leagues. And of course, don't forget, there is a couple of teams, fixtures lined up for you today. We have Gor Mahia, that is one. Then we have Tusk, of course, they'll be playing. Then we have struggling Mathare United. Still, they'll be playing today. And of course, Kakamega Homeboys vs. Vihiga Bullets. Many will call this, the Mashemeji derbies, because one team hails from Vihiga, the other one from Kakamega. They'll be playing today. Vihiga has been really struggling. Same case to Kakamega Homeboys. They were the last season's runners-up, but things are really working badly in their favor. They bagged the 3 points. We'll be taking a look at that. right, welcome back, and let's dive direct into this particular conversation about the rugby. Well, Michael, the last time we were talking about, you know, the latest happening, or even rather the status of rugby here in the country, and in particular the Shujaa team. A lot of people, you know, criticized me for speaking ill of Shujaas, but it's a result that we wanted, and this time the team has been, we can't really, you know, comfortably say that this is what we had expected, but there is some signs of improvement. Well, today they'll be playing against you know, Australia in their first opening. You know, the caliber of Australia. By all means, Australia stands head, shoulder, by all pedigree, above Shujaas. But do you see a Shujaa team that will actually, you know, marshal something out of this strong team?
Yeah, of course. It's I've seen a lot of improvements in this team. Remember the last time, as you have said, it was very disappointing in Hong Kong, coming to South Africa. But right now we have almost played in the half of the cities involved. The last one being Vancouver, and let me say they have been improving. But coming up against Australia, and then after that you are facing Fiji, it's not quite that easy. But given their recent performances, I expect to see a better performance compared to when they faced the same team in that was, I think, South Africa.
Well, when you look at this Pool C, of course we have Australia, Fiji, and Japan. Which team do you think will, you know, makes you worry? Of course, as a Kenyan, and of course Shujaa fan, which team do you fear between the two, leave alone Japan?
Between Fiji and Australia, I would say Australia, because looking at some of the performances that Kenya has registered against these two teams, of course they have faced them